years ago, something incredibly strange happened to my best friend when we were just teenagers. I was 15 at the time, and one night, I decided to sleep over at his house. After a marathon of scary movies, we were in the mood for some adventure, something that would make the night unforgettable. Not far from his neighborhood was an abandoned block of houses, scheduled to be demolished in just a couple of days. The entire site was fenced off, and warning signs screamed, "Do not enter." Each house was boarded up tight, doors sealed, windows nailed shut. Nobody could get inside, but we were fearless, or maybe just reckless. My friend knew a spot where we might sneak in, so we ventured toward the old block, our flashlights cutting through the darkness. Every house looked the same, boarded shut with no chance of entry. Then, one house caught our eye. A window on the top floor wasn't boarded completely. From our angle, we could just barely see inside. I grabbed my digital camera and snapped a photo, laughing nervously at the thought of what we might find. Later, when we developed the photos at home, we froze. In the window, clearly visible, was a woman. She wore a brown raincoat. Her skin was pale, her long black hair draped over her shoulders. Her expression? It was one of deep sorrow. We hadn't seen anyone when we took the photo. The doors and windows were still tightly sealed. Nobody was there. Confused and shaken, we returned the next day to verify. Everything was still locked. Nobody. It wasn't my story. It belonged to my friend who I'll call Rita from Japan. He was only 11 or 12 at the time. That image haunted him for years. He never knew if it was a trick of the light, a ghostly presence, or something far more sinister. Even now, when he recalls that night, he shivers. The thought of that lonely, sad woman staring out from a boarded-up window, a silent witness to our intrusion, still lingers in the back of his mind. And sometimes, when he's alone at night, he swears he sees a shadow in the corner of his room, reminding him that some places and some people are not meant to be disturbed. A few years ago, I lived downtown in a major US city. I was a night person. My roommate, decidedly not. So often, after he went to bed, I would take long walks to pass the time. For 4 years, I walked alone at night. Never once did I feel threatened. Never once did I feel fear. Until one night, everything changed. It was Wednesday, somewhere between 1 and 2 a.m. I was walking near a quiet, police-patrolled park, far from my apartment. The streets were empty. The park? Silent, even for a weeknight. There was barely a car in sight. I took a short side street, planning to loop back to my apartment. And then I noticed him, at the far end of the street, a silhouette, dancing. A strange dance, almost like a waltz, with nods at the end of each step. I assumed he was drunk and stepped aside to give him the sidewalk. But as he got closer, something felt wrong. He was tall, lanky, wearing an old suit. His eyes were wide, wild, staring upward. His mouth stretched into a cartoonishly wide smile. I decided to cross the street, trying not to look back, and then I froze. He wasn't dancing anymore. He was standing perfectly parallel to me, still smiling, still staring at the sky. I started walking, slowly, keeping my eyes on him. Half a block away, I dared to glance at the sidewalk ahead, empty, silent. I looked back, and he had moved. He had crossed the street, crouched slightly, still facing me. I hadn't looked away for more than 10 seconds. And yet, he had moved. Every step I took, he mirrored in his own twisted dance, tiptoed, exaggerated, moving unnaturally fast. I wanted to run, call for help, anything, but I couldn't. I was frozen. Finally, I found my voice. What do you want? It came out as a whimper. And then, he did something even more disturbing. He turned, slowly, and began dance-walking away. Relief. For a moment. But then, I realized he wasn't moving away anymore. He was coming back, running. I ran too, through side streets, back to a better lit road, glancing over my shoulder, and he was gone. but his face, that wide, unnatural smile, haunted me for months. He didn't look drunk. He wasn't high. He looked completely insane, and that is a fear unlike any other. In the mid-1980s, my mom worked as a cleaner in Australia. She often cleaned suburban homes and sometimes properties far out in rural areas or wine regions. Most of her clients were found through referrals or by leaving business cards at local shops. One day, she got a call from a woman, probably in her 60s. The woman wanted my mom to clean her old farmhouse. There were strange instructions. The lady refused to meet her in person, insisting she would leave the keys under the front doormat. My mom agreed, mostly because the pay was unusually high. On Monday morning, she arrived. The long driveway already made her uneasy. The house stood alone, in the middle of a vast, empty property. She found the keys and started cleaning. About an hour in, she heard the back door close. No one was supposed to be there. She froze. 3 or 4 minutes felt like an eternity. Still, nothing happened. She decided to continue. 2 bedrooms left. And then she stepped into one room. All over the bed were black and white photographs. My mom froze. She stepped closer, heart pounding, and realized the photos were of her. Some were taken at our family home, others at other houses she had cleaned. Someone had been watching her. Panicked, she used the house phone to call the police, then fled to the end of the driveway. The woman was investigated, but she continued to claim it had been a break-in. After a while, the police stopped searching. 4 months later, we moved to a new town. But my mom never forgot the feeling. The realization that someone had been stalking her, taking photos, without her knowing, and sometimes, even years later, she still feels eyes on her, watching from the shadows.